Hong Kong 713, just introduced to our system, is only applicable to all employees that are considered as continuous contract. So all these things I will show you later how to set up whether the employee is considered as continuous contract or not. All employees are covered by the Employment Ordinance, entitled to basic protection, which includes like payment of wages, restriction of wages deductions, and what is considered as a continuous contract employee. Continuous contract employee is one who has already been employed with the company for at least 4 weeks or more, with at least 18 hours work every week. So this is considered as a continuous contract employee. In our system, these are all the pay elements that are considered as covered by the Employment Ordinance. So right now in our system, we are only focusing on these 4 items: your holiday pay, the annual leave pay, paid sick leave allowance, and then the maternity or paternity allowance. So for Hong Kong 713 Ordinance, we calculate based on the average daily wage is considered as the total wages in a 12-month period minus the disregarded wage. Taking off all this over here, this is the actual formula that our system is following. Is the average daily wage equals to, this is their basic pay. Okay, and then number of days in 12-month period, which is about 365, minus disregarded days. Okay, disregarded days means days that you don't pay your employees, such as maybe their rest days or their off days. You have access to this also, which is over at our support page. Just type in Hong Kong 713 at the search bar, and then you should be able to see all these things. It gives you more in-depth information on how you can count for rest day, how it impacts the payroll, the holiday pay, annual leave pay, and all those rest day pays. Okay, so next we'll go inside to the system to see how we can switch it on. You would have to first go to payroll, and then go over to configuration, and then to configuration again. Then over here under configuration, this is where you set up whether you want to follow Hong Kong 713 Ordinance. So right now, if you do not want to follow, then don't check the box. If you want to follow Hong Kong 713's Ordinance, check the box over here. After you check the box, then you see all these options below here. Once you check the box already, everything over here is by default already following the guidelines of Hong Kong 713. So like for example, the holiday pay is only applicable after 3 months of service, which is 100% of the ADW or their basic pay. For annual leave pay, is also 100% of ADW. So all this you cannot change already because it's already following Hong Kong 713's compliance. Whereas for sick leave, maternity, and then paternity leave, okay, all this are still given at least 80% of the AW average daily wage rate. So by default is 80%, but depending on the company policy, maybe some companies, they want to give a bit more, maybe like 85% or 90%. This one is up to the employer and the employee's policy, okay? But by right, if there is no special agreement between the employer and employees, then by default, everything should be 80. And at the bottom over here, we can also select to use the current month average daily wage. This one is only applicable for the 100% ADW, which is your holiday pay and your annual leave pay, okay? So if you want to use this, we will use the current month average daily wage, okay? Or the 12 months average daily wage, whichever is higher. Okay, and then if we switch this on, then we also have to set the definition on how to calculate the current month average daily wage. So there are 4 options over here. So the first option is monthly salary, which is the basic pay, divided by the days in the calendar month. Okay, so means consider all the days, including the rest days as well. Or you can select monthly salary, days in calendar month, okay? Or this one, you can select monthly salary divided by working days plus the rest days included. So means this rest days, you will be select whether it can be paid or not paid as well. When the rest days is not paid, then the definition will be considered as monthly salary divided by working days in a month, okay, which is more or less like the same one. Or you can select monthly salary times 12 divided by 260, which is already removed off the off days. Or if you can just calculate by the whole tax year divided by 365 days. If you want to keep it simple and just follow Hong Kong government has already set as default, then we can just go with monthly salary default. So this is how you would switch on everything and then save it. Next, I will show you how we can do it for the annual pay and for the sick pay. Holiday pay, employees don't need to apply leave for holiday pay at all because based on the public holidays that has been set up in your account. So next, I will show you how when employees submit for their annual leave or their sick leave, we also want to set whether the employee is considered as a continuous contract employee or a non-continuous contract employee. So to set that up, we will go to user admin, and then we will go to the employee's name, click on the pen icon, this is where you would select whether the employee is under a continuous contract or a non-continuous contract. So depending on what you switch over here, they will be applicable or not applicable for the Hong Kong 713. If you were to switch this on to continuous contract, then the employee will be subjected to all the Hong Kong 713 annual leave pay and the sick leave pay. Next, you will be able to select when is the start date of the continuous contract. So for this employee, in this case, it will be 1st of January. So once this is all set up, then we save it first. So now your employee will be considered as a continuous contract. And then next, we can also check under your employee's administration, Aaron Kwok, okay, and then we'll go to view details. So at the bottom over here, this is where you also be able to check for their employment type, whether they are continuous contract or non-continuous contract. And then this is where you also be able to set up the rest day as well, whether does your company actually pay for their rest days or they don't get paid at all. So now moving on back to the leave module, we will go to configuration first, and then we will go to leave types. If you are following the Hong Kong 713 Ordinance, then you would have to come here to switch on the statutory leave types as well. So to switch it on, you will click on System Leave Type Settings over here. Okay, and then you will just switch on which one you want to show. If you're not following, then you can maybe switch it off. But if you're following, then you would have to switch off this on first. Right. So for example, if you go into it, all these are already following the Hong Kong's Labor Department law. So as for the sick leave, as you can see, it's already compliant. All right, so for the sick leave accumulation, as you can see over here, first year of employment, employees earn 2 days of paid sick leave per month. And then second year onwards, employees earn 4 days, and then the maximum leave accrual is 120 days as such. So you can set up everything over here. All right, so if we go back, let's say an employee is going to apply for a sick leave now. So I'll go over here, I'll select, let's say, a sick leave statutory. I'm doing it for the employee. So I'll select the days, how many days exactly they have. And then let's say I'll do it for Aaron Kwok. And then after that, I'll just submit. So this is like the employee applying for a leave. So instead of an employee applying leave, I'll do a block leave instead, so everything is faster. So if there's any leave that's been applied by the employee, you just apply it. And then after that, you will be able to process that leave over to your employee's payroll. So any leave that's been applied, you should be able to see under payroll administration, and then you can find them under processed leave item. So any leave items under the Hong Kong 713 that's been applied by the employee, you should be able to see it over here under the processed leave items, processed leave tab. So for Aaron Kwok, what we just did just now is over here. Okay, so he applied for 1 day sick leave. Okay, this is the formula based on what we have set up as well. So it's 80% of the average daily wage. So if you want to transfer this sick leave over to employee's payslip, you just click on this icon. Pay elements will be added to this employee. So right now we will go back to the employee pay details for Aaron Kwok. So now we can see the pay element has been added in for the employee already. We have this sickness allowance, average daily wage, and then times N, which is the number of days that we have processed from the processed leave items. If everything looks okay, then we will just go ahead and click on Save first. Then after that, we will go over to process pay. So we're doing it for February for monthly, and then I just want to do it for Aaron Kwok. Okay, go ahead and click on Proceed now. So we can see over here, View Pending Approval. So now we can see the basic pay salary, okay, based on working days in the month, calendar days. Okay, so in this month, we have 28 days. And then 19 days over here is also based on the rest days that you have set up. Just to show you where to set up the rest days is, for example, over here under Configuration, under your payroll work calendar. So we can see only Monday to Friday is considered as a full day, and then Saturday and Sunday is the rest days. So in this month, for 28 days in this month, we have about 19 days of work. So the system will calculate based on the rest days, based on the work calendar that you have set up as well, which is considered their rest days or their full day of work. And then over here at the bottom, you can see the sickness allowance as well. So the sickness allowance is based on the average daily wage that has been calculated by the system that we have taken over on the configuration page over here. Okay, of the average daily wage, 80% of the average daily wage. So you can see it's taken from the average daily wage of 80%, which is the average daily wage is the regarded wage minus off the number of days, 12-month period minus the disregarded days. And this is the amount that you get. And depending on how many days that they apply for the sick leave. So in this case, employee apply for 1 day. If you apply for 2 days, then this amount would times 2 and then show up over here, which is also applying for the same formula over here. 30,000 divided by 28. This is the daily rate. And then times the 19 work days in that month. This is the amount over here. And then, of course, you have your employees' MPF as well. Difference between your normal Hong Kong payroll, if it's not following the Hong Kong 713, you will only just see their normal basic pay. Okay, and then if they got any other different pay elements, you just see the amount over here without the pay rate and the days over here. But when you switch on the Hong Kong 713, Okay, then you'll be able to see this extra two things as well, where the system will break down the amount for you just to show how much are they getting for that month for their salary. Quite a lot of information to take in at this moment, but we also have the guide on our support page. You have access to it. So you can just go to support.justlogin.com over here. Okay, then you can just type in Hong Kong 713, and then you should see over here just the guide that I showed you just now.